is. That's what people's opinions are. That's what people's beliefs. It's kind of scary right now. You know what I'm saying?
So, Karan, do you feel that COVID did or did not impact people's mental health and stability?
I don't think it affected Black people's mental health and stability as much as they try to portray it. And Black people been having other things other than COVID trying to kill us since we've been here. I don't understand. We're not that. We're not that shell shocked. You know what I'm saying? This is just the next. Like I keep telling people, as a Black man in America, COVID is just added to the list of things that can kill me when I walk out my front door. And now I ain't even got to walk out my front door to die. I could be in my crib with my wife and kids chilling, and they could come in here and knock my door down and say it was a suspected drug dealer living here and kill the whole house up like they did. They did my boy Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is the tactics. Brianna was the tactics they used on Fred Hampton. The same stuff. Yeah. All these tactics ain't new. If you know the history, you understand they running the same game plan on the whole country, not just Blacks. Everybody who ain't part of that circle is getting the game ran on them. Everybody, Chinese, Blacks, Italian, everybody who ain't in that circle of the original forefathers. Then you running the same. We get in the same game of what's that game? 3-card monkey.
So let me ask you this: so you feel like the Asian attacks are strategic too? That's something strategic to kind of throw people off from other things that's going on or whatever. Because I'm just tripping out on how all of a sudden, first it was one thing, and now it's a whole nother wave of something else that's going on now.
Excuse me. Hold up. I would like to add on to this. Because we cooking with fish grease right now, really early.
That's what you get.
I don't know why. I don't know why anybody. Definitely, I don't know why anybody is surprised though at anything that has to deal with any of the non-white groups. You know, everybody. Because if you really look at the history of America, everybody who is not white,
it was made by white people for white people.
Some kind of hate crimes. I mean, this ain't the first time Asians have experienced hate crimes. I mean, when the whole Pearl Harbor thing happened, whole concentration camps popped up, put mass incarceration of Asians. That happened, you know? Especially when 9/11 hit. What happened? Anybody from the Middle East
targeted. Yep.
But you know what happened though? The difference between the Asians and the Blacks and Blacks that get the same treatment basically daily in this country. That the Asians have a whole nother country called Japan, China, North Korea, They have a group of people that have a few tanks, they have a few guns. You just can't come killing a bunch of Asians. Now, I guarantee this thing if this became something where they just kept killing Asians, that ain't gonna stand. As Black African Americans in America, we have nobody that will come save us from nothing. They literally could just start shooting us down the street at will, and there's nobody coming to get us.
Facts.
So when they saying save Asian lives and all this, I say, yeah, save everybody's life. I don't want nobody to die at the end of the day. I think we should just all, roll up a nice joint, smoke, chill, and just have fun and play some really good music. You know what I'm saying? That's just my vision of the world. But at the end of the day, that ain't the world. So it's like you said, bro. It's all this stuff is aimed at distracting. For the overall mission, man, I believe COVID was a thing that's part of their routine. Again, when you study history, you start to see you know the future. It's like what I'm saying, every 100 years some kind of pandemic pops up, and why is that? Because if you listen to Bill Gates and all of the elite people of the world, they're not worried about. They're so above Black, white, and all this other stuff that the people that really don't matter worry about. They're worried about overpopulation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Because once the resources gone, it don't matter if you got $1 trillion. If there's no more oil, you can't buy no more. If there's nothing else, then that's it. So that's their biggest thing. We got to stop these people from populating so fast. So every 100 years, it becomes a thing where it's like natural selection, and it just so happens that when they release these things and do these type of things, it just so happens that the burden bearers of this country, which are the Black and brown people, of anybody other than the white people who created the country, they take the biggest brunt of that experiment or whatever they're doing,
Jasmine Giles said, but what about that Asian lady that killed Latasha Harlins, though. Our people aren't going to forget that.
You talk about the Asian lady that came in the beauty supply store, right?
Right.
Yeah. Again, if you know your history, you know that you, as a black person, you shouldn't really have no sympathy towards no Asians. If you know your history, you know what I'm saying? If you really know your
Agent.
black history, the Asians came for us before the Dutch, before the dang white colonizers who actually won the war and actually took over the world. Asians invaded Egypt
Facts.
before the whites. The whites came down out the mountains. They had no knowledge of how to invade. They learned all that from us, and we just turned around and let them come in and surface. But the Asians, they were developing things because that part of the earth we'd already gotten to. The first samurai was black. You understand what I'm saying? We are the sands of the planet.
Talk to
You know what
him,
I'm saying?
Ron.
So
He
for
eating up.
me, I know the history. So when I see an Asian, I know you probably been taught to not fuck with me off GP just because I black. I understand. Everybody in the world who's not black is mad at black because you're not black. I get it. It's cool. You know, the problem with black people is we don't understand that power. We got to understand that, we live on a planet that sun is the source of life, and our skin absorbs that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Our hair grows towards that. Those two facts alone should let you know, as a black person or a person of color in this world, that you are favored by something much higher than a government, than a president, than anything that they have created. I come from people who actually created astrology, who built pyramids, who gave the world math, science, medicine, civilization. That's what I walk around with every day. Now, if I get the other umpteen billions of us on the planet to see that history, we self-correct then, because we just stop taking the shit. We be like, look, enough is enough. And that's why I think we lost. But they knew if they take your history, you take everything. How do you kill a god? I'll wait for the answer, but I tell you, you make them forget that they were ever a god. That's how you kill a guy, because the guy really can't die.
Right. You know, that man, to me, you know,
got hot in here for a second. Woo!
I just think that, you know, like you touching on that.
Yeah.
I just think that I'm not gonna say that I don't see it happening, but I don't see it happening. Yeah, it's a bunch of us woke out here. It's a bunch of us understand what's going on.
It's
You know what I'm
happening though.
saying?
It's happening as we speak, bro. Trust me, it's happening as we speak, because I guarantee these kind of open conversations weren't happening 50 years ago. You know,
They weren't. I mean, and if you look at the history textbooks and stuff, a lot of it is erased. They want you to think a certain way about, Columbus and you know, how Christopher Columbus discovered America. You know, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And thank goodness to YouTube, where you can actually find some, knowledge. You think about this generation today, they don't read, so they go straight to YouTube and try to find information. We have to help educate, because otherwise, guess what? They're going to be stuck on what has been traditionally passed down.
And I think Doc, that you are dead on, and you're so centered. That was my next kind of point, is like, we have to get control of the education. We can't keep expecting this whole overall change just in this country. I'm gonna just say this country, because this is what I know. In this country, and we don't look at the actual education system of the country, man, because I don't necessarily think people are born inherently evil or inherently bad. I think it's a conditioning thing that happens over time. And if you spend your whole life from the time you're 3 or 4 years old, and everything that's put into your mind is white is right, black is wrong, then if you happen to become a police officer one day, you're white, and you run up against a black man who may not, in your mind, comply with what you need. It's subconscious at this point. You're 30 years old.
Pre-programming.
It's programming. It's basically the biggest. I tell people all the time, man, America and the world in itself, like, if you don't understand the history of what they did with Constantine and everybody with their plan, it's the biggest psychological warfare ever. And I tell black people, and I tell my people all the time that I talk to, I say, guys, this 500 years of us being in this servitude position, in this position, is such a small blip in the history of us as people, but they have somehow engineered and continually to condition our minds to only focus on the times in our history that we were losing,
I was
which
just
is,
about to
you
say
see what I'm
that.
saying? So it's like when you it's been psychological studies that show if you see yourself on camera, or somebody that looks like you on camera actually winning or doing something great, that changes your molecular and your psychological structure. So imagine how many black people they broke, not only when they killed George Floyd on TV and they kept running it. Do you understand how many of us that were close to being awakened or close to
Hmm.
being figured out actually took 5 steps back? Because at a certain point, we're all victims of the conditioning. Even myself
Right.
was a victim of the conditioning. I went to
Right.
an all-white university. I was a willing slave for a long time. You see what I'm saying? And in another life, one of my mentors, Dr. John Henry Clark, in his lectures, he always says it. He says only a slave can free a slave. I know everybody who knows me now know that David Banner and I are like, we're best friends. He's one of the closest friends in my life. He's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about this all the time. And it's like us as minority, not even minorities, us as majorities who think like minorities have to understand that when we look into our history, that is where our power is, and that's why they cut us off from it. That's why they blew us
Right.
off the Sphinx. That's why it's unbelievable how much evidence that's contrary to what they tell us is readily and available. All we got to do is just slow down and just understand and read for a minute.
Oh, but
Just
that's
gets unplugged from the distractions. What you saying, Versus?
no, I'm saying, but that's the thing though. But that's the ultimate secret. They know that if you put things in writing, black people not gonna read.
Well,
They
because
know that.
again, because they spent 500 years making it a criminal offense to you. See
The
what I'm saying? It
system
was so
is
hard.
the
Yeah.
Exactly.
system. They've been twerking the system for years. So it's to
Right.
the it's a maze that not your average person is gonna be able to find their way out of. You gotta be people are woke, but you can still be asleep at the same time. There's still you could be surface level. There's a lot of
Man,
surface level ain't digging
yeah,
deep enough.
exactly. My grandmother's 90 years old, bro. She was at the house not too long ago, and I said, Grandma, do you know that we actually are descendants of the very people who created the pyramids? That to this day they blame it on aliens. They think aliens did it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
that's the only way they can explain away that they didn't do it and we did it. They can't say we did it. That would just completely break the whole whatever they talking about.
Right.
Let me
My
ask you
grandma,
this.
what?
Go
What's
no,
up?
go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to get this.
And
Go
my
ahead.
grandma, but this ended up. My grandmother was surprised. Like that was knowledge to her, and she's 90.
Right.
So you have to think back, and you be like, wow, if she's 90 and she's lived long enough to she basically was, she was on the tail end, coming in when she was a girl. Her grandmother, my great grandmother, was born in 1914. That's only like 25 years after slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
if you really think about it, we not that far moved. You see what I'm saying? And
Man.
our generation is the generation who has to figure it out now, and now we have to fix it with our children. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Me getting to this point at my age, my job is to have my son and my daughter here at 10, at 12. You know what I'm saying? And they complete now we can move it forward because let's be clear. Like you said, it's hard to say that it's going to happen, but here's the deal. If we're willing to understand it's going to take one sacrificial generation for us to really take our place back, then we really won't be able to do it. But again, they made it to the point and they made us believe that if you ain't a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes, then the sacrifice really don't matter. But that's not the
Right.
case. You know what I'm saying? The lesson is you always got to sacrifice for your people because that is where the blessings usually come from anyway. You see what I'm saying?
It's
But
true.
Right. Hey, man. Look, we don't be holding back that information now. You know what I'm saying? We on one. I want to. I want to talk about this happiness thing. And actually, what's considered true happiness, and why people consider happiness based on material things now.
Programming, programming, programming,
Versus said it. Next question.
programming. Like, come on.
He's like, I wrote a
all
book
in
on
your
this.
face. It's all in your face. It's all in our face every day. Every commercial, every billboard, spend money. This
You
is
got to
your
think about it, though. That's marketing. You're supposed
being
to,
advertised to every day.
absolutely. You have to attract your five senses. Some people, have to taste it, smell it, hear it. And so happiness really is from within, but a lot of people are unhappy. So they have to find superficial objects to try to make them happy. That's the purpose of
Again, it keeps going back to the root of this whole thing. Since day one, especially as people of color who gotten here, they taught us that do your time here and in death you'll find your heaven. So that's the mindset. We all look outside of ourselves for what's supposed to save us, what's supposed to make us bright. You see what I'm saying? So it comes back again to what's been, like Versus said, the programming. You know what I'm saying? You said the key point. It starts inside. Your happiness is yours. It's your determination. Happiness is a decision. You know what I'm saying? It is a mindset of the glass is half full versus the glass is half empty. That's what happiness is. Happiness is being grateful for the air in your lungs, no matter if you got $100 million in your pocket or nothing, because the air in your lungs is the actual gift, because
That's
as
the
long as you're
gift.
alive, your purpose is still alive. You see what I'm saying? But we've been taught to chase people and not your purpose. That's against my credo. My company, and my people I hang around with. We chase purpose and not people. We chase greatness and not money. You know what I'm saying? All that comes from within. If you stay chasing to go back in, you'll never have no problems from the outside. Somebody should write that down.
But the thing is, though, a lot of people don't understand is that money is the byproduct. It's not the main objective. It's the byproduct of result of, like you said, chasing purpose, finding purpose, fulfilling purpose, and then you get compensated for your purpose, but you shouldn't be doing something just for the sole fact of money. But in a capitalistic society that we basically have been raised in, that has programmed us in that very fashion, that hey, you have no status unless you spend X, Y, and Z, or do this and do that, have this brand, have that, you have to drive this certain car, and then that puts you in the upper echelon of whatever social circle you want to be in. And
But really and truly, when you really look at it, all of that really means nothing at the end of the day, because who really cares? Like, you know what I'm saying, what type of car you drive,
Hey,
or
dig this.
you know,
when you die, nobody says he drove Bentley. When you die, nobody says he owned a mansion. When you die, nobody says she had 10,000 acres. When you die, they say, how many people did you affect? How many people did you change? How many people did you help? That's what happens in your life. But see, again, African descendant people, that is what we come from. This is the reason why they've been able to keep us our greatest strength has been used as our greatest weakness now. You know what I'm saying? Like Banner always tells me, and we have been we were the first Christians on the planet, the original Christians. We did exactly what they try to tell us to do, not love your neighbor, honor the mother, honor thy father. When you went to Africa, when they stumbled upon Africa's civilization, they found no orphanages because we didn't throw kids away. We found no old folks homes because we didn't throw away our elders. They found no insane asylums because we didn't go crazy. You see what I'm saying? All these things are things that we are basically emulating from our exact oppressor. The way we treat, sometimes I was a womanizer at one point in life. Again, that is a trait that I picked up from my oppressor. African religion, African society, we had women who ruled civilizations. We had women who ruled, we had a woman, Queen Candace. She held off the great Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great ran up on her, and he saw her take an arrow to her eye. She took it out and kept charging. He said, you know what? We're not going to mess with them because I'm trying to stay undefeated, and I think that is my huckleberry. I probably won't win against them. And he took his butt right on back up over the mountains and chilled on out. See, but that's, if you understand that about your black woman, you won't treat your black woman crazy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the way they trained us to do. So it's just, again, It starts with the conditioning. Versus said it well. So happiness, like you said, Doc, I think starts from the inside, and I think again, to me, it's a decision. I think you just have to decide to see the glass half full versus half empty most of the time.
Definitely.
Preach.
Absolutely.
100% people
I
out there
just,
sleep,
looking
sleep.
at I just, and it's funny, I was having this conversation today, we was talking about, the elders and how things was versus the way things are, the ones which is considered us, which supposed to carry the torch, because it seemed like family was more close knit around the time when Medea and Daddy and the grandparents is like, they, because that meant so much to them, keeping us all together. And then when they pass on, the torch is supposed to be carried to continue to keep the traditions and everything going. But then things are not like that no more. Families are not getting together as much no more. We're not talking as much as we used to talk anymore. It's just a weird space looking back at, the way things was then, which was who was the glue that
Yeah,
kept things together.
and the longer we go on into this and living under this oppressive, under these guidelines of what they put out and what they pour into us daily, outside of just again the way our elders, man, in our religion, in our African religions, bro, we are actually supposed to be able to access our ancestors. Like they have rituals in our African religion that if you had a great grandmother who told you something when you were 2 or 3 years old and you needed to remember it, you can go into a ritual and you could do a ritual for a week. Write your question down on a pen and pad and put that in, and you pay tribute. And next thing you will have that answer, bro. Like they cut us off from the source. They can't figure out how to do pyramids because we forgot how to access the databases because we're still all connected. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're black and you're in America, you are some of the strongest Africans to ever live. You come from the strongest Africans because so many of us didn't make it across the water. It was hundreds of millions of us lost. So just the fact that you even still here, you come from a bloodline that's damn near unstoppable. Like I don't even know how you in America at this point. You're not running around like a superhero. I'm out here trying to get my superhero on.
You think that that's do you think that that's what the ultimate fear is to the other side is,
Power.
the light switch going off one day and everybody get it.
Yes.
Imagine. You know that story about how you keep an elephant in a circus is when you get the elephant as a baby, you tie him to this stick that he can't move, and he conditions himself that can't move that stick. But as he grows to be giant size and can move that stick with the breath without even thinking about it, he's already conditioned himself not to be able to move that stick. Now imagine if you're the owner of that circus and you like, man, if this elephant ever figure out that I am beneath, like he would. I mean, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the most magical, mystical people on the planet actually waking up and realizing that, man, wait a minute, what are we doing? Why are we playing these games? Like, dude.
True. That's really true.
I mean, people who have real knowledge, that can, impact medical, education. You talk about your big sectors, technology, you're a threat. So what are they going to do?
They take them out.
Exactly.
Dr. Sabi,
natural
all
decrease. Natural decrease. That's what they're afraid of. They keep on calling us minorities, but we're not, because if you have an ounce of black blood in you, baby, you know what? You have now been added to the matrix, baby. It's in. You in there. So they know if you continue on this path that they will be extinct. And they understand that. It's like I knew what Kanye meant when he said, how did you keep 30 slaves on a plantation and whatever? Because again, it's that conditioning. Usually it'd be 30, 40 slaves on a plantation and 5 people really in charge. Like, how did that even happen?
I know, right? And like, if we get it, like, really, we overpower the situation, we could take them out.
But here's the deal. That's when they understood separation. They figured out how to separate us even in those conditions. You know what I'm saying? They figured out how to pull a few of us out, give them a little bit of a trinket, some lemonade, a little bit more freedom, a little bit thing. And you know what happened? We policed ourselves. Half the slave rebellions were stopped from inside the slave. A slave told. it was so many rebellions happening. It was hundreds of rebellions, bro. They don't even talk about how many rebellions it was on these plantations. They make it seem like slavery was such a smooth. They try to make slavery was the smoothest economical thing for years. Like everything was cool until somebody wanted to just get woke and shit. That's how they try to paint slavery. You know what I'm saying? But motherfuckers
Right.
was fighting for a long time trying to get up out of them shackles. They eventually had enough. Eventually, 100 years passed, and now all those original slaves that came over, those warriors and all those people, they're dead now. And now we got these kids that we've been raising for 30, 40 years. And we didn't raise us some really good house ones that understand that if one of them get out of line, and now you got a 30-year-old that like thinks he's one of them, and he's like, "Yo, what are y'all talking about leaving? I gotta go tell."
Right.
And now we look up, it's 2021, and they still give a few of us some trinkets and a few of us some of this, and then we have the power to move the masses. And the moment you go against the plan that they want, we end up missing, assassinated.
Exactly.
So
and nothing happens.
but with that, but that's what I'm saying. With that being said, it's like, is there really an opportunity for everything to really unify and to be, because just like with Black Wall Street,
No.
they just took all that out.
What do you mean by unify though? Like unify what exactly?
I'm talking about us.
The black community, man.
Yes.
Look.
Yeah.
That's,
Let's talk about that.
That's like a 2,000-year plan right there, because it's some mental gymnastics that's getting played that people keep falling, man. People keep drinking the Kool-Aid because everybody's not on the same page as far as values, because you got people who like the chains, they like the trinkets, they have a lot of people that's what they aim and strive for, and they'll align themselves with their oppressor way quicker than they'll align themselves with their own black people. Because look at black owned used to be a thing. Like I just got done, me and my girl, we watched Chadwick's last movie. Ma Remy's
I know I'm missing the name too, but I know what you're talking about.
I think Ma Remy's Black
I know the one you're talking about.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, yeah.
Phenomenal film, but it wasn't in your face. It was just a well done film. I like those better. I don't like the whole tell me what's going on. It was just, but the undertone, the theme was very big as far as black owned, doing it without, and Ma Remy actually was a pioneer of that, doing it her way up until where it kind of, because that's when the music industry that the white man created actually that and they started doing recordings and stuff like that. But yeah, but singing something like that's not a thing for us no more, because now it's like, all right, build something, or you have something of value, align yourself with your oppressor. That's kind of been the process, and also part of the programming now, because we see everybody who look like us, that's what they do. They build something up, they have something of value, and what they go do, they go sign here, they go sell it here. They're like, nobody keeps it back in the community, and that's why I personally think that
that's what I'm saying, because like when we talk about, okay, when we talk about wealth, I just don't think that we have wealth like that to be, because what I don't understand is, it's not, it's with all of the millionaires that we have, and we have quite a few millionaires or whatever. My thing is like, okay, cool. Well, we know we're not getting the love with the Spotify's or whatever when it come down to the music and all that. They control that. They control Instagram. They control Facebook. They control Clubhouse now that everybody is on now or whatever. I'm saying, what do we own? We don't have an app. We don't have our own social media where we don't have that. And quite frankly, I think if me and Karan created one, all of us got together collectively and created one, I don't think that people would support it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I say to that. We all have to just become more intentional about what we do. Jay-Z owns Tidal. That's black, right? But how many of you guys have a Tidal subscription?
I got one.
You got one. You got Apple subscription. You got iTunes.
I got all of them.
I mean, that's just by default iPhone. So now if
Well,
Jigga
I mean, I got
out
iPhone too. But
home,
again, no, this is a small thing. Now imagine, now, like even now, I'm sitting here. I have on black on, black on, black on, black on. Only thing I don't have black on right now is underwear. And I'm waiting on the black on underwear line to come out, and I'm gonna support the hell out of them too. Even when it's not the best quality of maybe a Fruit of the Loom who had 400 years of free labor to get their shit right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just think each of us who have the knowledge and has the faith to just walk with each other, even when the times don't feel the best, man. My brother Rohan Marley has a hotel in Miami. I can't wait to get down there and support. You know what I'm saying? Now, is this hotel gonna be like SLS? I don't know. I hope so, but if it's not, I'm not gonna take it and say, you know what, that's crap. I'm never coming back. I'm gonna say, you know what, brother, this is a great damn hotel. Thank you for having me. There's a few things we need to get better at, but I'm telling you now, as a brother in constructive criticism, to get better so we can help each other get better. And I will be back because I'm a support. See, us as black people, we come into a situation with black-owned business and we hold that standard so high, but when a white person gives you the less standard, you just take what you get. So I think for me, at the end of the day, I think we can turn it around versus, but it's gonna take, like I said, a sacrificial generation. Is it our generation or is it our kids that's gonna have to actually show the way? Like I'm working with my partner Marcus Smoot. We Smoot part of Smoot Film. We're doing content together. It's a group of brothers. We doing a bunch of stuff, and we are very intentional about supporting and creating stories that show us in the best light and just doing it the right way. We don't really have an inclusive thing where we like only black. No, we're just doing it with the people who match our energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really easy for a white person who's not completely understanding of history and understanding their place in history to be around me for a long time. It really it's not really cool because I'm gonna call you on shit quick. It's like you can't say nothing around me without it being like, yo, prove me wrong. I got to show me the books and you prove me wrong. Other than that, then you just relax.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so you had talked about there has to be some kind of generation that's going to help educate and change the movement. We have a lot of shows out there that portray, African Americans in a wrong way, in a wrong light. Let's just put out an example: Love of Hip Hop and stuff like that. Where people are very dramatic and creating scenes. Queens are portrayed a certain way. What do you think needs to happen in order for the image to change?
We have to stop thinking about just ourselves when we make decisions. We have to stop. When I bought these shoes that I have on now, I didn't buy these shoes for my comfort. I bought these shoes for one day my son can actually have a real shoe down, or his son can have a shoe down the line, because I'm supporting this black man's dream of getting a shoe company off the ground, just like Phil Knight had a dream 50, 80, 70 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Those shoes were terrible 70 years ago. But he had people that supported it until it became, now you got the air. But when did Phil Knight become Nike? When Phil Knight partnered with one of us. Let's be clear. Again, if you look at the history of time, the moment you add us, it becomes valuable. We just to go back to what you were saying earlier, wealth ain't shit if you don't own a natural resource. We don't have control of no natural resources. How is black people indigenous to the most wealthy land on the planet and we control none of it?
None of it.
Nope.
None of it.
Africa is our birthright, bro. Just like Europe is their birthright. Those parts of the world that's yours. Hey man, we just had to just start it over. And this is where we at. This is where y'all at, based just on geographical location. Y'all can come here and live here if you want to live on the damn right on the dang the right here in Sudan, and you white. Let's see how long you last. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get burnt up about this boy. I'm so fair skinned. I'm probably gonna have a hard time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They keep it real. But at the end of the day, that's what we got to remember, guys. So it's like I think for us as blacks, we got to get back to being intentional about trying to help build each other, no matter how far away it feels, how long it feels like it's gonna take, how uncomfortable it may be for us in that moment. But we got to remember that every step we take, we got to take a step for somebody behind us and think like that at all times, or we just gonna be in like quicksand. We're gonna be running in the same place. So I think we can do it. I think it's already starting to happen. Just these kind of conversations are huge. What you guys are doing on this platform is huge. That's why I say if I'm available, man, I'm always gonna come on here and support. And my dream and my goal is to be one of the biggest stars on the planet and keep increasing this show, making this show right. Like I'll turn down Good Morning America to come do your show. Forget Good Morning America.
But see what I'm saying? But see,
platform.
that's my point right there. What you just said, that's what I'm saying. You saying that. And that's one of the things that I have always admired about you.
Yeah.
As a person and as an individual, because you don't carry yourself, and you have accomplished, I mean, a lot. If we pull the accolades out, I mean, let's just be clear. You don't even you don't boast about none of that stuff like that. I mean, every time I have an encounter and I talk with you, it's always on this same level, this same mindset. And now you are aligning yourself with the same people around you to the point to where you don't want to be around nothing but this same like-minded people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was talking to my wife today. We were doing some notary stuff, right? And I was saying, babe, once you get to a certain point, you spend enough time with people, they start. How many spouses y'all know been together over 25 years? They started to look alike. Like Ice Cube and his wife, they like brothers and sisters. LL Cool J and his wife like brothers and sisters. Dog, Paulette and
I was saying that the other day. Jasmine Sanders and DL Hughley have been around each other for a minute. They look like brothers.
DL and his wife, dog. I'm just trying to tell you, like. So that's why I say this energy thing is so real and so important that you start to understand who you have around you at all times. And also, here's how you protect that. You protect who's around you at all times by being protective of who you are at all times. Like my agent, I turned down a role one time because the guy was like a brilliant surgeon, but he beat his wife. You know what I'm saying? And the wife was a black woman. I was like, yep, I'm not putting that on film. I'm not going to be responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't he just be a black doctor that's brilliant and have another issue with his wife? You know what I'm saying?
But think about how many other actors would have chosen that because of the money that was attached to it. Think about that.
I can't sit there and say I turned down Black Panther money, and I'm not going to lose down a Nobel Peace Prize on that. But it was an offer that came across, and as an actor, you get an offer that's like huge. You don't have to audition; you just get an offer and come work. But again, my manager at the time was like, "Yo, man, I love you for doing that." But I said something to him that day that kind of stuck with me just by saying it, because I said I gotta be who I say I am. I think at the end of the day, I think we just all gotta be responsible for being who we say we are, and then that will pull the right to you, and it will protect you from the wrong people, because the wrong people cannot stand up to a pure energy. Those kind of people getting that kind of energy, and they will not stand around long. I promise you. Like when people leave my life, I am so thankful, because it's like, yo, I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm cool with that. I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea. I mean, this ain't designed to be that.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm right there with you.
I just thought about
that's why we all share energy right now. This ain't no accidental conference. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I just thought about something though, while you just speaking. What am I trying to say? I'll put this. There's no code. I feel as though, kind of like as my father, the great Baldwin right here, has taught me that.
That's my son, by the way, Karon.
Yeah. You gotta have a code, and I've noticed that myself, because I'm like you, Karan, somebody who holds himself to a high standard for myself and code and beliefs in a foundation I have for myself that I don't bend for nobody. And I've noticed that there's a lot of guys out here, I've noticed with men, it's a lack of code. Like it's kind of like it's a free for all for a lot of people, and it bothers a person like me, because it's like, really, like where does the line stop for you? Like, where is your line in the sand? Because I just don't like, people just are willing to do whatever, however, for the almighty clout. as we call it, these days, and for attention, fame, for money, for opportunity, do anything and everything. And it's like, I even though I'm trying to break into an industry myself, but I know for a fact
You're not
there's gonna
trying, you are.
be things. Yeah, actually, I am. Thank you. But it's like there's a lot of things that I know for a fact. No, I would be no, I can't. I wouldn't not. I don't. I couldn't do it. So I
Yeah,
Let
find
me
it.
and you
let
dead
me
on with that, bro. Stay
we
stay
gotta
that way
we gotta
forever.
hit our hit our sponsor up real quick. This episode is sponsored by Forbes Media Agency, a boutique public relations event production and brand development agency, catering to all your media, public relations, production, and brand development needs. Get connected today. Email admin at Forbes Media Agency com or call 918-863-7621. That's email admin at forbesmediaagency.com or call 918-863-7621. Get connected.
Wow,
We
man.
love you, Janelle.
You write that by yourself, man. That was pretty good. It was very
He was remembering it for quite some time.
oh man.
Hey man. Hey man, family first, man. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
family.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Janelle. Yeah, son, I really appreciate that. Definitely I pride myself on trying to I just still hold on to a lot of the old values that was being invested into me early on as a young buck, that values that I didn't understand, and now that I'm older, um looking at those values and all the things that I didn't understand then make a lot of sense now, and looking at the newer generation, which they call a lost generation. um it's saddening to me, man, a lot of the things that I see, um the way people treat people
Yeah.
nowadays. It's like love has been devalued, and all of the other things are rising up and taking the forefront. And I just think that it's to me, I just feel like social media is a good thing. All of these tools and different things that's accessible, free promotion marketing for Karan and his production media company, and giving us those great films, being able to just put those clips out there and advertise, and a lot of different brands. And I think that in that regard, it's great, a great way to save money and be able to touch the world and put that material out there. But then, you know, I do think that it is, tools in place to distract a lot of people as well, because it's just a lot of stuff going on if you just look at it. Like you say, Kawan, just really like being woke and paying attention, because I pay attention now to things that I probably wouldn't have never paid attention to, when I didn't care as much, and wasn't focused on trying to keep my nest woke and educated on what's really going on out here in the world, because it is a lot of different distractions out here. And I feel like social media and all these other different things that they're creating and coming up with are parts of that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think social media, the moment it stops being used as a tool, is actually now become weaponized, and I think that's part of the biggest problem that's going against us as people as well. Again, we don't own any resources. We don't own any media companies that can
Right.
actually get our message across to counteract what's happening on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We don't have something that can actually you can go to get black news and black
Right.
something.
Hmm.
We have nothing like that. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
that
So
forbidden? Is that forbidden in the industry? I mean, being that you're on the inside of the industry, just from your eyes, physical eyes, being and moving around and seeing things and being a part of so many different amazing projects
I
and
don't
on
I
so
don't
many
I,
amazing
I don't I don't
sets.
think it's forbidden. I just think that some of the gatekeepers that we have in place right now, man, like once I get to the point and I have LeBron James power, LeBron James access to things, then my mind is going to be different. I might not be focused on buying a basketball team or a football team. I might be focused on buying an actual radio network or a TV, something, working on trying to find a way to get an actual platform that I can get a message out to the masses that can actually funnel some real change. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
I
Bill
think,
was trying to do that, right? Wasn't Bill trying to
but
do that? I mean, we're
Bill
not
was
even
trying to do
talking
that.
about. We ain't
Yeah,
even talking about what the things that happen. We
that's
talking
exactly
about
what
what he
that's
was.
exactly what Bill
Right.
Cosby was trying to
Okay,
do. But
okay.
also Bill Cosby
Suge
had
Knight,
a
all them, all those guys
yeah,
was trying to get
yeah.
together. Jake Prince, all them, and we seen what happened with that. Every time somebody tries to, we got our Tyler Perry's, we got, Oprah's, and all these different things or whatever. But is that enough? Is
Well,
that
that's
what
the
we
thing.
is?
Yeah, no, we need more. We got to do more. We got to be more
Okay,
intentional with those kind of people at the top of the food chain like that as well. Like again, Bill Cosby attempted to do it, and you see what happened with that. Unfortunately, he made some bad decisions in his past that they were a lot able to use against him. I think at some point, even as a black person in this industry, in this world, you got to start understanding, man, you're a target even when you think you're not a target. You got to understand that I can't go around slipping white girls' quaaludes and thinking it's not gonna come back to harm me someday. You know what I'm saying?
the same stuff
Um,
that's the same
Right.
stuff that they do. That
yeah,
because they,
yeah, but again,
Yeah.
I can't emulate them and do things they do and expect me to get the same pass. You know what I'm saying? At
facts.
the time, in
It's
that time,
true.
during that time, and Bill Cosby was doing all that stuff, that was the way of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You show up at the crib, you pop a pill. That was just the fucking damn.
Exactly.
That was the
Snort
'60s
a
and the
line. That
'70s.
was nothing. They had a
Yeah,
plate of cocaine out of that's
yeah,
a part
dog.
of
It
the
was
party.
yeah. It was that
Yeah.
was that was the party favor. The
Right.
girl.
Right. Oh, but we
You gotta have.
okay. There you go. There goes the audio. Wait, audio was out. Audio out. No, yeah, no, we can't. We can't. Audio
Can't
cut
hear
out.
you.
Yeah, we got some technical difficulties
We
happening right
can't hear you.
Something died. Something died. Something.
Can
You
you
heard
hear
it
me?
fly. It was like, "Psh."
Yep.
No.
Try logging out. Can come back
Try
in.
logging off and come back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um
Ron will be back.
shout out to our special guest, man, y'all, the one and only Karon Joseph Riley in here dropping gems, vibing out with us. Shout out to everybody that's on the live.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been great.
showing so much love, for real. Shout out to Jasmine Giles. Shout out to Shelby Patrice. Shout out to Forbes Media Agency, one of our sponsors in the building. And shout out to Shelby Patrice, my sis in the building, and everybody else that's on the live showing so much love. Thank you guys so much. We waiting on Karan to jump back in here.
He was cooking though. He was cooking though.
I know. I have like some burning, responses to that, and I need to make sure that he's on.
But yeah. But just to continue the conversation, I mean, it's it is really interesting, man, because a lot of people like go buy an NFL team, go buy an NBA team, and it's like, well, that doesn't really add
It
anything.
doesn't serve the masses. It really doesn't. So,
It
I
doesn't.
mean, it doesn't serve the masses. I mean, as Karan was saying, to get on a platform to be able to make a huge movement is definitely what's needed. So my question to you versus is you're, one of the youngest one on the panel. How do you change your generation? How do you help impact your generation with education?
Media. 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 That's another. I tell people all the time. The media is the biggest evil that our country has, or any country has. You can look at any country. The media is the influence. The media influences the masses. So whoever controls the media controls the masses.
Hmm.
And that's just a
Yeah,
fact. It don't
that is
matter how
that's so
you
true.
look at it. It don't matter. Like it is what it is. And also, they know that with social media as well, with these different social media platforms and stuff like that. They know that, because if you look at it, how much time is being spent on these platforms, how much time is being spent on these platforms versus how much time is being invested into your child or family, or how much time is invested into self.
Yeah.
If you add up the time that's
Okay,
being
here it is.
spent, more time is being spent on these social platforms,
Right.
posting your food and posting this and posting that. A lot of time is being spent on that. So we're taking away physical interaction time. Um, Even now, if you look at schools now, I ask my son all the time, you come home, I'm like, did you have homework? Oh, I already done it already. Well, when did you do it? I didn't see you doing it. Oh, we did it on the computer at school. Like,
Mm.
there's no projects or anything being built. I don't see any of that stuff going on. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, media and big tech, man. Big media and big tech are the two biggest evils that that can directly attack the masses and influence and
Well, it
manipulate the
separates.
masses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but but media, you saying, because the question was presented how I think I could influence my
Right.
generation. It's the media, man. Media, because you see it all the time. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had a former congresswoman. She's actually from Hawaii. She did his podcast. She was actually a congresswoman um, during the Trump term, and yeah, she gave up all the inside of really what goes on in there, and it's because she really wanted to affect change and do something. Like, I think she wanted to run for president, maybe something like that. And as
Hmm.
soon as maybe that leaked out because they knew that she wasn't trying to play ball. Therefore, that's when, oh, she's in bed with Russia. These things started to come out in the media about her. I
Mm.
forgot her name, man. I forgot her name, but that's what she said, and it's just like, man. So whoever controls the media can control the fate of quite a bit, especially when it comes to an entire country, and it can create division, it can create unity, it can create.
Well, we already seen that. We seen the hate percentage go up or whatever. I mean, it's always been out there, but at the end of the day, this experiment that they're
Yeah.
doing, they're doing a damn good job with these experiments that they putting out there in the world. You know
Mhm.
But
what I
let's just be
mean?
real though. Like if you have a positive woman, for example, like let's say I'm a teacher, okay? I've been in education for 20 years. If I put a video of myself, teaching a classroom, do you really think it's going to get that many views and that many likes compared to someone else, half naked and shaking their ass? It's not going
That's
to
my
happen.
point.
Why?
That's just my point exactly. So these are the odds that you're up against. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I mean, I'm like Karan. I'm like, does that sway me from continuing on my purpose and my path and what I believe in? No, it
Right.
don't. But it just
Right.
lets me know that the fight,
Oh, you
we
got
got
to
a
be
long
very
we got a
strong.
long way to go.
Yeah.
It's gonna take more than me, you, Karan versus Jacqueline. I mean, David Banner. It's gonna take a lot because of what we're
Absolutely.
up against. We up
Yep.
against, man. We
It's
up
gonna
against the
be
government too.
yeah.
Definitely, man.
Oh
We
yeah.
up against the government too. All of that's all of that's all of that's bullshit. All of that, them trials and all. They basically wasted a whole bunch of time Trump doing that trial and all of that with Trump. Yeah, they already knew they wasn't going.
Hey
The
man,
evidence was there. Like, that was a joke. That was a clown show.
I'm in entertainment. That was the best TV on the planet at the
The
time, bro. Like
best.
that you could see, you could almost see production of it all. It was amazing.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
this is what we did. This is what we dealing with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is there even what's the holdup with the case with George Floyd? It's a joke. They're basically setting you up, basically letting us know right now, so they can prepare. Like, because we already know they're gonna flash out when we deliver this verdict. Are we really all the way prepared this time to have everything ready to protect
here's the thing though.
these
Here's the
businesses and
thing though.
stuff?
They know the blueprint. Our flash shot is we gonna sing some songs. We
Right,
gonna get some
right,
black mamas on TV talking about we praying for them and we doing this and we doing that. And they know it ain't gonna be no eye for an eye, so they cool with the singing and the protesting. They're gonna go in there and change some kind of law that basically just makes it a week longer for them to get you as opposed to the right of way. You know what I'm saying?
right,
But it still ain't gonna help.
right.
It's just the same. They know the blueprint, man. They know
Long as
the
y'all protest peacefully, we don't have a problem with y'all can do that all
yeah,
day
man.
long.
You're not gonna get what the bully took from you unless you're willing to do it how the bully did it.
Man.
So let's talk
And
about
see, and that's just it. That's my thing. Because this is the thing that gets me. Okay, so they show the images of all of those black kids and stuff out there in Miami, out there, jumping on cars, wilding out in the middle of the road. They out there wilding out. And I seen this post of somebody from the NAACP. I can't remember the name, but they was like, they said that those kids were attacked aggressively.
Of course.
And
I mean, this kid just went up and he was in Colorado, shut up a whole grocery store.
Exactly. And they walked him out. They walked him out peacefully. He's still alive.
Right.
I mean, like, what else if you don't know this by now, like,
the game's been rigged.
I think we know it, man. I just think, like I said, we so paralyzed by the fear of what happens if we lose their support. Like, I mean, imagine, dog, we sit up here so scared to do anything because it's like we feel like if they'll take the grocery stores from us because we don't own no grocery stores. They'll take the airlines away from us because we don't own no airlines. I mean, literally, bro, we really at some point it's got to be like, yo, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But if until we willing to give up some comfort, we not gonna get to no real freedom.
That's what I've been saying when everybody was like, "I'm going to Africa." Like, man,
well, that's a plan too. I'm not against that.
No, I'm not against it at all. But I just know that it's a front.
It's gonna be a struggle anywhere you go.
People are not gonna do it. People. That's because you just said it. People, the comfort. People like America. They love what America gives them so much to the point that nobody's willing to sacrifice nothing to compromise. I love my NBA.
I ain't finna leave my big house and
my NFL.
My big house and my Bentley and all that stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
American lifestyle.
because if you look at it, you're right. Sacrifices was made. Martin, X, that was a sacrifice.
Right. But until you start traveling the world, you won't start realizing what everyone else values. People really value quality time with their family, really value, other things. I feel like America's the only one where we fixate on materialistic things. Gotta have the big house, gotta have all these things. And that's not really what we should be striving for. Sad reality.
What should we be?
It's again, we're emulating the very people who don't even understand what fractions are. The people we're dealing with, they've never looked at anything and said, all right, well, we're here. I know this is your land, but can we just get a plot over here and let's kind of develop our thing? No, we're going to not only kill everybody we got here, we're going to take all this land that's ours now.
Right.
And that's what we're dealing with. So it's only a matter now. So what's happening now is what we're all witnessing is black people are actually acting like white people.
Right there, man. That's the quote right there. That's the quote right there. Black people.
Except we're not practicing racism. They make racism like, why is it such a bad thing if a race wants to stick together? It's not bad if black people try to do it.
But Karon, let's just be real. Why are we having black on black crime, black on black hate? Why can't we join forces and build?
What's the thing? That's gonna happen even before slavery in Africa. We had fights against each other in tribes and everything like that. But differences in people is gonna happen along the lines. But the difference between us and every other race in the world is when it's time when somebody else outside of us comes to attack us, they unite. We don't. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't going out there. I ain't finna go out there and fight with Karon. That's on him.
That's it. Because
that's on him. I ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't finna lock me up and jump on me.
Yeah, Kim Jong Un might have a problem with Sally Jong Un, but if America could say we about to come Kim Jong Un, Sally Jong Un gonna go get her guns and they gonna fight with each other.
They,
Period.
you know why, Karan? Because they understand. They understand that.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
We don't. We don't
No, we
understand
We
that.
don't understand that. Like
Because the
they
beef that I
separate
had
us.
with you, because you didn't cast me, you know what I'm saying? I felt that I wasn't right for the part, or you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
When it came down to war, I'm not rocking with him, man.
Well, because we've been programmed to think if you don't believe what I believe, then we can't support each other. That's not the case. It's, man, you could date, you could do what you want to do. What you read and what you believe should not stop me from supporting you, because what we got to get back to is, if I see a black person, African person, I don't see an enemy. I see a brother, or I see a sister. I see an ally. I see a resource. I see somebody I should look out for, and hopefully they're looking out for me like I'm looking out for them, no matter what's happening. Because when we came over in them boats, we didn't come over there as no Deltas. We didn't come over as nobody that was born in Florida or Detroit or California.
Right.
The people who are in charge see all of us as the same. So until we see each other as the same, we are completely at a disadvantage. So again, we got to get back to our Pan-Africanism. We got to get back to understanding that, man, I might not agree with the way Versus did that song, or way Versus talks to his children. But if somebody run up on Versus that ain't a black person, and I'm here to help them, I gotta help. This is what it is. Period.
Right.
That's what we got to get to.
Even even in business as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't I support what you're doing? That's why, you know, I feel like, and that's why, you know, I was having this conversation with somebody the other night, and they was like, man, you know, you always be showing love, man. I really, really appreciate. I'm like, my brother, that's what we supposed to do. Why wouldn't I support something that you're doing? Why wouldn't I support Karan stuff when it pop up? I might have to catch up because we all active and busy trying to make moves or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna catch up on my brother stuff. Why wouldn't I? Because I love what you're doing. I understand what you're doing, and I believe in what you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? So why wouldn't I support that?
Self-love, but you gotta love yourself enough to love me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta love myself enough to love Jacqueline. I gotta love myself enough to love Versus. I gotta love myself enough to love you without it being attached to something you can give me, or something attached to something that I can get. I just love you because you look like me, and I love myself so fucking much that if I see anything that's even close to looking like me, I'm fucking with it. So everybody on this motherfucker look a little bit like me. So hell yeah, I love y'all.
Right. Roman Stewart said, when I see Ben Crump at the crime scene, I know we're going to lose. Buddy on that bullshit tonight. Oh my God. How y'all feel about that, man? I be feeling some type of way when I be seeing old Ben Ben pop up at, how you pop up at every big thing, every big orchestrated situation that happened. You always on the scene, man. You the guy.
Well,
you
again,
the guy.
You know, again, it's we have so many people not willing to do anything, that if you find somebody that's willing to do anything, that's usually what they're doing. They're doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So you always got to question the guy who's always Johnny on the spot. You know, wherever there's some kind of conflict, why you always popping up? Are you either the producer of this, or you got some kind of say in this thing? I don't know.
You say producer,
or maybe we need to figure out: are you the one that's causing all this shit? Because you seem to pop up all the time. You know how they do serial killers? They go back to the scene of their crime. You know, all that weird stuff. But anyway, don't let me sidetrack.
Right,
anyway,
right.
That's the theory that, again, like I said, we're so cool as black people to accept any leadership instead of asking our leaders, where you leading us. We just jump on, like, hey, okay, this is cool. Even if we jump on, but the problem is we don't jump on to nothing that's tangible and worthy to jump on anyway. You know.
Right. So let me ask you this, just a scenario. I know this is old news or whatever, but I just want to get your perspective on it, which kind of ties into some things that we were talking about earlier. Okay, so in the Nick Cannon situation, right? okay, he's back on board with that situation or whatever. I want to get your perspective and thoughts on it, just because it ties into something that Versus was saying earlier. What saying that we always give up something of value that we create, that we blow up and we make successful, and then we go and we partner. Do you feel like that's a situation to where we get our backs against the wall, where we have to do that, or we could go and holler at some of our other resources that's in position, that may have the financial capital and resources or whatever, that could continue on this situation? Why couldn't it have been, okay, cool, well, we can't do Wilding Out on this network, but we can always go holler at go over here, because we already know that the show produces fruit. We know this for a fact. Can we go over here and do it?
Yeah, well, you have an opinion on how it could work or why it should work a different way, but at the end of the day, I'm guaranteeing that it had to be some kind of paperwork involved that probably stopped him from moving it like he wanted to move it. I don't know the situation on the inside, so I can only speculate on what could have been. But again, that's what happens if you end up having to, like you said, compromise your vision and get in bed with them at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a necessarily bad thing. You just need to check, make sure you pick the right them. I don't think everybody's inherently bad in that world or anybody inherently bad in that universe. I just think you got to really do some real gut checks and who you partner up with your energy. I think Nick got himself into a situation where he said some things that the people that maybe have some power in his destiny that they didn't like. I'm trying to gear it to the point where I don't have nobody in charge of my destiny but me. You know what I'm saying? If you get to that point, now you're truly free. That's what free is. You can say what you want to say. You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can try to cancel me, but again, if you got the support of your people like you're supposed to, if we had to support Nick, we supported Nick Cannon like we supposed to support Nick Cannon as Black people, he would be unstoppable in any kind of situation. But again, him not being able to move like he wanted to move ain't a reflection of Nick Cannon. It's more of a reflection of us.
Having enough capital. There could have been a Black-owned network, or something else that he could have been on.
It's enough of us now with enough capital that we should be able, and enough wherewithal. To me, I'm like, if you can't do it through the front door, there's always a way to do it. I wouldn't put it out here on the net on this right now, just the plan that I would have, just because it's people gonna hear this and they may not be on my side. So I'm not gonna give the plan there. We'll talk about it offline, but at the end of the day, man, you gotta play chess with these people, because that's what they play. They don't play checkers. They don't care about the immediate jump move. They'll give you $100 million, but if they give you $100 million, how much you think they're making off of you?
Right. Is that part of the reason why? Was that a part of the inspiration to why you wanted to start creating your own films?
It was the sole inspiration of why I wanted to create my own films. That, and I wanted to be able to control the narrative that I send to my people. Like, I want to be able to. I watched how Black Panther moved us as a people, but I also knew that was a banana in the tailpipe situation for us as a people, because as much as Black people came out and supported it and did all it did, it wasn't a whole lot of Black people that came out of that generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Only people that got generational wealth out of that was a bunch of white boys, and I ain't mad at it. They pimping the game like they supposed to, but there's no reason why we shouldn't have a Black superhero that we own. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm writing right now. And I'm, I know once I get this thing written and done, I'm gonna just rely on the people, and hopefully they can see themselves in my story, and hopefully they flock to it and buy it, and we have our own Black Superman for real. You know what I'm saying?
Now that's gonna be dope.
All right.
Yeah.
That's gonna really be dope. I want to touch on. Go ahead, Versus. Go ahead.
Because he just said that, and hey, you guys subscribe to Jay Versus YouTube channel, by the way. But I have talked about that, and people get pissed at me on my channel when I talk about these things, as far as the laziness that goes into giving us ethnic heroes, mainly black heroes. There's no thought, there's no creativity, there's no real imagination or effort put into it. It's just pretty much copy and paste. Let's just change the pigmentation of this character, this established character already. And like, I just feel like black heroes deserve more treatment, more effort. You know, like what you're doing. And people get pissed at the fact, and it's just like, oh, but it's the representation. But y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get the point. I feel like this is backhanded. I feel like it's a slap in the face. I
No,
feel
it
like
goes. Yeah, I agree.
It's ignorance.
It goes back to trying to get a seat at a table that you built. You know what I'm saying? Like we as black people, we keep on trying to run up on this table. We built the damn table. We can't even get a seat at it. We keep on just chipping at the. Hey, let us up here. Let us up here. Instead of just turning and saying, you know what, we're going to do it our own way, do it ourselves. Imagine if all the black NFL players just walked away and created their own NFL league. We wouldn't have 30 teams at the beginning, but we have about 15 or 20 that everybody in the world is going to watch opposed to what they're going to watch. You know,
Facts.
NBA,
Yeah.
all that. I mean, we keep on trying to buy into their systems and expect change. Man, like I said, Dr. Henry Clark, I'll say his name again. If you haven't listened to his lectures or read the books that he suggested as a black person, then you are failing yourself. But he says we can't keep running our grits to other people's meals and expecting different results. You see what I'm saying? We can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't expect, no, they're about to sign $100 billion contract with the NFL right now. $100 billion. Some crazy number for the year. Not for whatever it is, some kind of contract. The contract is crazy. Now, we got NFL guys who played 10 plus years in that league and gave their whole body and spirit to. And you know, if they find themselves in a precarious situation, why is that? In my vision, we would have a black NFL league that's all black, and the billions that we would be generating, everybody who plays in the league would become a lifelong stockholder, even if it's a percentage of a percentage. You should always be getting checks in your mailbox as long as these billions is running and you add it to it. If you put your blood and sweat into this league, you should be getting some kind of check. But we live in a country. We live in a country who doesn't even take care of the people who go to war and fight for it. So what do you expect?
I was gonna say that.
What do you expect?
It shouldn't be and it shouldn't be no homeless veterans out here. Period. I don't care what nobody say. Period.
Dude, like if you go out and do the ultimate sacrifice and sacrifice for your country, you shouldn't ever have to worry about a job when you get back. You shouldn't have to never worry about your family ever being hungry. Like that's a sacrifice that, like back in the real days of life, if the warriors went out and that family was taken care of, even the mafia knew how to do that. If the hitman got pinched or the hitman got killed, the hitman's family was taken care of for life. You know what I'm saying? They were basically a made family now. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, but again.
That's strange.
If you live in an honorless society, why do we keep searching for honor? There is no honor in this society.
Nothing is surprising. Nothing should surprise you.
That's very.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop being surprised. Stop being surprised and figure out the move to get you out of that. That's what we gotta stop doing as black people.
All that money though, like what are they doing with all that freaking money? Because majority of the investment that goes in, the main priority in this country is military. They get crazy amount of money every year, and it's like none of that goes to veterans at all. Billions.
It goes to their
toys. To their toy investments. At one point
it went to fueling the damn cocaine epidemic in the country for 10, 15 years. It goes to these projects is where the money goes. It goes to stealth fighter jets and projects to keep black people and people that all other
these scientists. Let's create. What we're gonna do? We're gonna launch. We're gonna launch swine flu. This year here. We're gonna come with. We're gonna hit Ebola. We're gonna hit Ebola. That'll take a bunch of them. We'll see how much that's gonna take out. Then we go.
All it's there for is to have ledgers to show where money supposedly went to. It's just like the big money game that all rich people run, man. You have tax write-offs. You go to lunch, you get a tax write-off. You get that money back. I mean, it's just what they do. They gotta have an army and all this money going somewhere to hide what they doing. It's all a plan, man. They got a whole thing set up.
Right. It's so amazing because it's like so many resources and so many different programs are created for people that come from other countries and different things like that or whatever. But it's always difficult for citizens here to be able to get these different the same assistance, get the same loan, or to you got the business plan, you got everything. It's
What
like it's
citizens though? What
difficult.
citizens though? Black citizens or what citizens? Because every other race has their own banks. Koreans got their
Fact.
own banks.
Yeah.
Chinese got their
Black.
own banks.
Right.
White people got their own banks. You know what I'm saying? We got one or two black banks, and we don't even all. If all the black people in Atlanta and all the black people in the world flock to the two black banks we got here, those would become the two strongest banks in the world.
And
Just like
what's
that.
those two bank names?
You got Capital. What the Central? What the now across my mind?
Didn't some of the don't they have the Greenwood Bank now?
But that's the second one, Greenwood, and then the other one is Capital. Is it Capital City or City Capital? One of it's you got two banks. One of them is City Capital, one of them is Capital City, but one of them is black owned.
So why do you think people are not investing into these banks and putting their money in there? Is it just because the lack of unknown?
No, it's just it's the black mistrust of each other. We don't trust each other. We don't believe that we can do anything amazing. We think everything amazing comes from outside of us. We've been taught that our salvation is not with us; is outside of us. So it's all engineered.
That, you know what, man? It's funny you say that, Ron, man, because it's like you think about some of the stores that used to the black stores that used to be in the communities and stuff like that. These stores are no longer, and you got foreigners in these stores now. And but when Mr. Robert ended up going out of business. But then when they opened it up, it's booming. They got everything in there that we need in the hood.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what ends up happening all the time, bro. I mean, that's the way of the world. Like if you get something of value, they do. If you get something that's black and it's of value, if they can take it and buy it from you, which they try first, and if you don't take the bag that way, they just find a way to destroy you from outside in. That's just what happens.
And see, I'm about to get real deep real quick, man, about cause we touching on the black.
Shelby say it's called One United Bank.
One United Bank. Okay. But yeah, just being to the black mistrust and saying that we are conditioned to feel like everything outside of us is better. Everything outside of us, is and it just goes way back into slavery era. I mean, religion, the Christian faith was created as a mechanism to suppress black people, the white savior, pray to this white Jesus. And that's another reason why God love my grandma, but I don't. When I learned that, that's when I abandoned religion right then and there. When I adopt more of a spiritual foundation for myself, still believe in a higher power, still believe in the universe, still believe in that almighty force, but not
that's all African religion right there, buddy.
Yeah, not the way that I was brought up though. Like not the blue-eyed white man that's on all other churches. Nah, I'm good on that. When I learned that, I was like, no, y'all kiss my ass with that.
But the churches are and I learned this as well. And you can't have these conversations with everybody because of the programming. Because then you are outcasted at that point when you start talking like that. You're looked at. You're the devil, or you're demonic when you start questioning certain things or speaking out about these institutions, these huge money making institutions. It's really turned into something else now, to me, and that's the why I have a problem with certain things. And I'm a spiritual person too. I have my relationship with a higher power or whatever, but it's to me it's still a part of the system.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these institutions are a part of the system. It's no different than school. When you look back at school, you know, you look at all the things that you were taught. The basic fundamentals is really all you needed because you wasn't taught anything else. Half of the things that you learn in school, you don't even use that in the real world right now. So why aren't the children being taught, you know, how to survive?
Well,
But like you had said,
why
you're
aren't children being taught stocks and bonds and how to understand how money really
exactly
works
Absolutely,
instead of
absolutely.
learning about
Those should be the
math and murderer?
courses,
Yeah, it should be the courses.
yeah.
right?
And I mean, we
Right.
talked about this on a couple of other shows, but I mean, parenting has become very different, you know, very lazy. And we owe it to ourselves as parents to instill this wisdom into our children. So we need to sincerely do a reflection on ourselves. If we're not passing that information down, if we're not trying to learn about stocks, if we're not trying to learn about investments, we're just as responsible because the knowledge is there. So you have to go apply it and make sure that you're transforming that knowledge. Otherwise, guess what? You have yourself to blame.
But that
Absolutely.
also goes back to what Karan was saying too. You know that we control our foundation, which is our family, and
Mm-hmm.
you know our what's under our roof. We have to continue on that purpose of installing those gems to our seeds. You know what I mean, and trying to protect the nest as much as we can.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Definitely agree with that, and with a little seed of my own these days. You know, he's about to be 4 this year, and yeah, I definitely have a lot of plans to really instill the proper things. Because now that I've learned, because that's where everything messed up right now is that information throughout all our lives throughout the history, tribes and everything like that has been passed down. You know, from generation to generation. That's another problem with our black community, man. We ain't passing nothing down. We're passing down dysfunction rather than real information that can help the next generation. So, I definitely with my own kid, I'm being more very aware that I to instill them kind of values into them. So,
I just think we just got to be very transparent and very intentional. Like I don't lie to my kids, man. I tell them the straight up truth. They come home talk about it's Christopher Columbus Day. That's when we have a real good conversation. You know what I'm saying? I explain to them, why do you think there's a Martin Luther King Day, not a Malcolm X Day? Martin Luther King was teaching that if you smack a black person, he gonna pray for you. The moment he changed that stance is the moment they killed him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I teach them. I show them. I give my kids my lens and let them see it. And sometimes people like that's a lot. I say yeah, but they're able to hold it. Trust me. I rather feed them the truth and let them have to digest that and figure that out, as opposed to figure out a bunch of lies like we did. Like all of us on
You
this
ain't
panel,
never lying about
we
that,
had
Yeah, we
Bar.
all of
Like
us
definitely.
had
that's
all of
real.
us had to weed through a bunch of lies to get to where we are now. Our charges
Mhm.
as parents, our charges as elders and leaders now is to cut the time in half for anybody coming behind us. If it took
Mhm.
us 40 years to find a way, your kids should have it figured out in 20. You know what I'm saying? And then their kids should have it figured out in 10. And then that 10 should become now that enlightenment happens. And now it happens. Like I said, this ain't gonna happen in a generation. It's gotta
Mhm.
start, and we gotta intentionalize it. We gotta continue to intentionalize it, and get back to like your verse said, the family model, the holding each other responsible and understanding that when I'm representing, I'm not just representing the Riley household. I'm representing every black person on the planet when I do something good, bad, or ugly. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of responsibility we all need to carry. And once we get back to that, I think we'll be, closer to fulfilling our true purposes and being actually true stewards of the planet. And we can get this planet back under control.
Right.
So
Absolutely, man.
interesting, Karan. How do you protect your children? You know, because you're speaking truth to them, and they may be interacting with someone else that maybe are not in that kind of household. How do you protect your children with the knowledge that they have?
I just tell them the truth, and I explain to them that everybody that you think is your friend at this time may not even understand what that really means. So, I just be very open and honest with them. Like, look, guys, like you come from this. This is who you are, and I don't want what I do is for that is really to instill that confidence and that unbreakable light in them that my mother instilled in me, and
Hmm.
and just really lead by example. I just try, like I said, I try to every day I wake up, I try to be exactly who I say I am. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't ever fudge on that. It's like I am who I am, and that may not always be popular. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's where courage is. That's where faith is. And I know that's I might be the outcast, but I'd rather be outcast in a damn room full of crazy people than be part of the room.
Yeah, no, I respect that, but I think um, you and your wife, provide a very strong household for your kids. What about the households that don't have a father, that don't have a mother, maybe are not as educated or not, instilling that wisdom? Like, what would be some guidance that you could provide to those children?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Well,
that's great.
yeah, you have to, like I said, you have to start at home first. I think I have to teach my son how to be a leader, not a follower. Then I have to teach my daughter the same principles. So if she encounters one of these kids or one of these people in their circles, then they can extend that confidence and that love into them. And it becomes a each one teach one use type of
Hmm.
situation. Instead of the blind leading the blind, you might have one person who can lead 10 people into seeing what it is. And I think again, we have to focus on what's right in our control, in our universe. This house is my universe. This family is my universe. I can mold this is how I need to see fit and what goes out to the world, because my son one day will be a person into the world. My daughter will be a person into the world. Those are like seeds that go out to the world, and what they carry is what you instill into them.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think we have to again see the big picture all the time, see it as a bird's eye view, and understand that we're all connected, interconnected to some way. And just lead by example, like live in your brightest and your strongest self, so everybody who comes in your presence is not afraid to be in their biggest and brightest self. I think that's the biggest lesson. I think that's part of my purpose, to live my biggest, brightest life, to lead by example. So a little boy might be looking at me and say, "Man, Karon never did not believe in himself, so I think I'm just do that too." And that's how we do our jobs.
Facts, man.
Facts. Yeah.
In closing, Jacqueline, closing remarks.
I
It's been
hope
a
everyone was
dynamic
in.
show.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
I hope everyone was enlightened by today's episode and took some, gems away from it. Karan definitely, gave us some gems. So thank you so much, Karan, for your time. But I think everyone needs to definitely search from within, love themselves. And if you don't know what that is, definitely work on yourself every day. You'll discover something new. You might be the next inventor. You might be the next, big thing. So invest in yourself. I see a lot of people right now, that are getting their stimulus checks and are just blowing it. And do something, whether it's education, whether it's financial investment. You'll thank yourself later. So think twice and stay prayed up.
Versus.
Well, here we are once again. Nah. Look, man. Appreciate Karam coming up. Really insightful. Really insightful. I'm pretty sure a lot of people gained a lot, especially if everybody that's gonna be on the playback of this as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. Self love. Love yourself, man. Especially if you got melanin in you. Love yourself. I think that would be my message for this, man. Because right now black people, it really just seems like we're the only ones that don't just love ourselves. It seems like a renaissance is happening, a black renaissance I like to call it, is happening, in a slow manner, but it's happening. I'm seeing more people embrace being black rather than accepting whatever the programming has been for a while. So eventually we're going to break the cycle. We're gonna break the cycle, but it all starts within, man. Don't and just be accountable, be self-aware. When you have those tools, those are great tools for you to be able to make yourself better. Accountability and self-awareness, and be aware of the people that you influence around you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I leave that on. Subscribe to Jay versus YouTube channel.
Ron, you got anything you wanna I mean you have blessed the entire show. Anything else you wanna leave out with, my brother?
Yeah, I just sum it all up by basically saying this, man: chase your purpose and not people. Chase your greatness and not money. And again, love thyself, know thyself. Um, to piggyback and wrap the whole thing up, if find a counselor to go speak to, especially if you're Black and African American. Find a therapist to go talk to. We carrying centuries of traumatic pain bodies in our DNA. Um, Go talk it out. If you don't understand something that you feeling, go figure it out. I think the moment we take the hard test of unlocking our own true potentials, I think we all find answers to the test not to be that hard. So I love everybody. I love you guys. Thank you guys for having me on. Keep pedaling as always. Onward and upward. And the motto.
Absolutely. And shout out to our sponsor again, Forbes Media Agency, a
That's my
boutique public
publicist.
relations, event production, and brand development agency, catering to all your media, public relations, production, and brand development needs. Get connected today. And to get connected, all you got to do is email Forbes Media Agency. That's admin at forbesmediaagency.com. Also, you can call by phone. Call the number at 918-863-7621. Make sure y'all get connected with Forbes Media Agency. Get
Man,
connected.
man, you are getting good at this, baby. You
Hey
great.
man, that's what I do, Ron. Man, I just want to tell you in closing, man, how much I love you, my brother. Man, it's always a treat every time we connect. Every time I get the opportunity to talk to you, man, I always sponge up everything that you say, all of the wisdom
Yeah.
and knowledge that I get from you, man. And I just want to just say that I just really, really appreciate you for always, man, pulling up anytime we need you to pull up. You always pulling up. So I just want to continue to wish and send blessings out to you and your family, man, and everything that you put your hands and your mind on, man, that it is blessed and fruitful every time, my brother.
I received that, King. I love you guys, man. See y'all later. Keep pedaling, y'all. Love you.
Bye.
Absolutely, man. We out. It is the Vibe Show. Y'all make sure if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed, please hit that subscription. Turn on it. Turn on those notifications. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. And we are here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Yeah,
and
man. Come on,
4
guys.
p.m. What is it? Mountain Time.
4 p.m. Mountain Pacific.
I'm,
I
I'm,
can't
I'm,
even
I'm,
talk.
I'm
I've
getting,
been
I'm
talking so
getting
long.
I'm getting
Yeah.
it down. 4 p.m.
and let's go. Let's go, everybody. Hey, we almost to 1,000 subs. Come on, let's do it. Hit
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all help. We trying to get to a
hit that
thousand,
button.
baby. Y'all make sure that
Come on.
y'all
Exciting.
Let's
help us
go.
continue to push the folder forward. We love y'all though. Shout out to everybody that was on the live, man. We just appreciate y'all so much for always showing so much love and pulling up on us, man. Riding it out with us all the way. It's Vibe One. Again, we're here every Tuesday. Y'all make sure that y'all get connected. We love y'all. Jacqueline, I love you. Versus, I love you, son. The
Hey,
world, we love y'all.
We love you.
We
hey,
are out of here.
meow.